Hey, and good evening, everybody. On this wonderful Monday, as we're going into the evening, it is about, I don't know, 6 o'clock here. I want to welcome you all here. It's good to be back. Um, Last couple weeks, I had some technical issues, and then again, some spiritual changes, and just seeing everything that's going on. I'm just so excited to be back because there's so many things that is going on in this world, and I'm going to be taking it from the perspective of the Holy Spirit, Sophia. This is not a religious channel. This is a spiritual channel, and I have renamed the show. It is now called the Human Spirit Experiment, and we are all under a new way of thinking. Uh, if you've been living under a rock, if you haven't been going through some changes, some magnificently and some not. At the same time, we're getting ready to go into a new year. So we're starting off here as the human spirit experiment, which meaning here, what does that mean for me? It means that the spirit is being taught to be changed. The spirit is, we're all into a different realm of what is going on with us and in the surroundings, in the new. We are getting ready to complete the second year of what the pandemic has. And if we break it down into 2 different years, you can see a dramatic change between 2020 when the pandemic started, and then in the second year under a new term of a president, as well as a lot of the variants and things that have gone on. So, no matter how we want to look at it, it is a test of our spirit. And I do believe that there is an experiment going on to literally make us believe that we're actually not spirit. And if you are a human being or if you're an animal, you have a spirit. And that spirit is who you are before you came here. And so, in this human experiment here, I decided I'm going to do a 10-part teaching. And it's called Wisdom for Beginners, in case, wisdom is what the world needs right now. And so, I believe that in 2022, the world will move into a new realm of division. Now, if you want to know what this whole thing is caused from all of us, it is division. If you've studied Agenda 21 from the United Nations, you will understand that what Agenda 21 is. And if you haven't looked at it, you need to look at it. So now, even though 2022, the world will move into a new realm of division, but it also will be moving into a new realm of spiritual greatness. So we're going to be starting a 10-part series of wisdom. I'm going to go over those in just a minute. But before I do, I just want you to know it's time to put your thinking cap on. And that also, a wise man once said nothing. Sometimes it's time to be quiet and listen. Sometimes it's time to speak. In this place, that what I'd like is in wisdom. Sometimes it's at this time to not say anything and but to observe. Because if you are, and my first teaching here is about the adult of your spirit, then you know sometimes you have to be silent. And right now is the start of the rest of your future. For all of us, our future is upon us. We are now ending the second year of the complete metaphoric change, spiritual change, financial change, health change, division change. Old ways won't open new doors. we may be doing the wrong way or the right way, but now doing what is right is not what is easy. And so a lot of us have been left in this realm where some of us are damaged. Some of us have made decisions that we might regret or we don't regret. And they are being put into place. But I think that it's one of the things that we can pretty much count on is a lot of us, most of us, have been wounded. Okay. I think that it's just pretty simple that wounds have come from the division, from loss of people, from loss of income, from loss of health. A lot of us are just now coming out of whatever it's called forbearance, whatever debt that we incurred. Some have serious medical bills that have come out of this. And so now is the time more than ever to turn your wounds into wisdom. Turn your wounds into wisdom. So here we are again. We're going to be quiet, but if you never announce your moves before you make them. And so I think that this is a really time to really understand what wisdom is and how we're going to go about it. So we're going to have a 10-part series here. This is what I decided, what came up to me and what I was inspired by the words of Sofia. And these are the 10 things that we are going to cover. Number 1, I am an adult of my spirit. Are you an adult of your spirit? An adult of my mind? An adult of my thought? Am I an adult of my emotion? These are the things that we're going to have to grasp. This is the things that are inspired from the wisdom of Mother to become wise, to deal with your wounds. These are the things that we're going to have to make the changes. Am I an adult of my action? Next is going to be I'm an adult of my body. Number 7, I'm an adult of my love. I'm an adult of my surroundings or my environment. An adult of my relationship or relationships. And finally, an adult of my decision. So now let's get deeper into what we're going to talk about. Number 1, the main thing is as we begin is that you are what you think about. No matter what. You are what you think about. This is the basics of thinking. Now, all of us have been thinking since we were created and began the heartbeat. If you don't know, the first 512 cells of the creation is a heart. Remember what a heart is. It's a pump. Pumps blood. So those who think, well, by the time the fetus or baby has a heartbeat, the heartbeat is one of the first things that comes into a fetus. So what is thinking? Well, first you have to have a brain and a thought. So if you have a brain, sooner or later there's going to be a thought. Now, is the brain a computer? Well, it pretty much is, but it's much better. This is why robots are created to be more like us, because our memory is basically endless. We can just load it up with as many thoughts and memories. There's never been a time where it's like, oh, your brain is full and you can no longer, you never heard, you can no longer add a thought to your mind. It never ends. So a thought can be, let's just say, since most of us are familiar with computers, a thought can be seen as a file. All right. So now, are your thoughts permanent? Well, there's a process, I believe, through inspiration of Mother, that how do they become permanent? All right. So number 1, when you first get a thought, you're going to dwell or what? Think about it. You're going to think. Okay. Is it time for me to get up? Is it time for me to pay that bill? Well, if I'm going to pay that bill, is it due today? Maybe it's not due till tomorrow. Okay. So then what comes up next is you debate within the thought. Well, let's see, it's not due today, but it's due. Oh, it's due on Friday. And so that brings to relating the experience like, oh, yeah, because it's due on the 20th and today is the 17th. So I don't have to actually pay that. And so now I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep this thought in there. All right. Or I'm going to delete it. Oh, wait a second. I paid that bill yesterday. Or so I don't need to think about it. All right. So then what happens is this thought becomes permanent. Okay. So let's just go back and go, well, I'm going to pay that bill on the 20th. All right. So now the actual thought enters into your spiritual realm. It enters into your spiritual realm. What are thoughts? Well, thoughts are intentions. All right. So it enters into your spiritual realm. Remember, if you are a spirit, which you are a spirit, we can debate over and over and over again on whether or not you're spirit. Well, you are. Okay. And you go on and you come in as a spirit and you leave as a spirit. You're a spirit experiencing in a body, not the other way around. So this intention is released into the spirit realm. Okay? The spirit realm is everything. It's everything. Everything has come from spirit. Mother, she's spirit. Why do they say Mother Earth? Why do they say Mother Nature? Why don't they say Mother the Holy Spirit? They give Mother Earth is creating Earth and also the nature. So they don't say God's Earth. They say Mother Earth. Mother Earth created God, who gave him the credit. But again, it came down to being Mother Earth. So no matter what, your thought, positive or negative, when it's released into the spirit realm, it is an intention and something comes back. All right, so now it is released into the spirit realm. So what does that mean? It means I'm an adult of my spirit decision. I'm an adult of my spirit. So when you put it into the spirit realm, which means that when you create it and that this is a thought that you're going to process and put in, how does the spirit look at it? What's going to be pretty much two things. It's like your lowest good. Okay. So if you go on drugs or whatever, every decision you make, it's either going to be for your lowest good or for your highest good. Right? For your highest good. So no matter what, though, results will happen. Results will happen either way. Now, this is where it gets really tricky because you think that the patterns are in your mind, but also these patterns begin in the spirit world. So if you're someone who is not living in your higher self, your highest good, then you may be in a place where you're in a permanent lower self of your highest good. All right. So for each one of us, ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at our world as one spirit. No, we're all one spirit, but each one of us is a cell within the Great Spirit of Mother. So we're linked to her for her to give us her wisdom, but we have to, part of it is tapping in to her, which is meaning tapping into our spirit. Now, yes, it comes time to debate on whether or not you want to say the Holy Spirit is Sophia. Okay. Now, however you want to look at it, everyone who has a title has a name. Everyone. You do not say there's the president. You say there's President Joe Biden. You just don't name anybody by a title. And so if the Holy Spirit is real, which she is, then she has a name. And one thing that makes any sense to me is you have to have a mother and a father in order to create. But it takes both. So when we're going to break all this down, you see, into these 10 different realms: thoughts, emotions, decisions, love, surroundings. These are all the things that we're going to study. And then when we put it into a positive sense here, as we finish this up, the whole thing is, as we're going along here, is how to trust your decisions. And is your decisions of your highest good? Or are the decisions that are going to continue to bring you down? If you're having issues within your own personal spiritual realm, if you want to live in a more wiser life, then the human spirit experiment is where you belong here. So we're going to end here with a question. Is your spirit an adult when created? And then we're going to go on to the next. And that'll be next time on the Human Spirit Experiment, also named the Alpo Show, but we had to have a theme. And this is where we're going in 2022 to get all the wisdom that we can possibly understand. And I've been searching all my life and found her, and she found me. And I want to pass it on to you. So please tune in tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting again tomorrow about 7 o'clock Mountain Times, somewhere in that range. But please subscribe to the channel. Look down here below. Subscribe to the channel. And then you can also look at some other videos. So I appreciate you coming in. Next time, I'll see you again, and I want to see you soon. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. It's greatly